The Spirit in the Body by Robert Crosbie. Letter 23. Reactions must come. A period of high thought and endeavour is not yet the consummation, and must of necessity, being above the normal level, bring about a condition below it. Knowing this to be the law of action and reaction, the buoyancy resulting from this knowledge should bring us quickly from below to a higher level than before, to a better understanding. Ships, sailors and men of all kinds get into doldrums at times. The sailors know that there is no getting anywhere without the ship, and the ship goes not without wind, so they just wait for the wind. Some, I have heard, go to whistling in order to raise a breeze, but I do not imagine that the wind is hurried at all by their efforts, and the whistlers only keep themselves in a state of irritation by their deferred hopes. The wiser take the opportunity to repair their kits, and do a general overhauling, so that when the wind does come, all is ready for it. The general position with them, no doubt, is that a sailor's life is work all the time, the kind of work being determined only by the circumstances. A true student of theosophy is, I think, a good deal like the sailor in many ways, particularly in the realizatio that whatever comes, it means work, in one way or another. A realizatio of the thing to be done gives the right direction to effort. And we, who know that the universe exists for the purposes of soul, can be but momentarily disturbed by anything that may come to pass. You have attitude, and the adjustment of the effects of events to it must become more and more easy and rapid as time goes on, and enough modes have been examined to get the general classification. Call it a study class doing examples in obstacles. To my mind, you are dead right in saying we blunder if we think that we get anything outside. That is the tendency of the age, analysis instead of synthesis. We have not only to fight this in ourselves, but likewise to meet the effects of it on every hand. It is a tough fight, but it makes strong souls, and we accept both these propositions. We did not start out expecting a train deluxe to heaven. We knew it was to be a fight every step of the way, and not only do we have to fight, but to meet and surmount all the obstacles that the enemy, this civilization, places in our way. But in view of the great prize, the uplift of humanity, these obstacles offer opportunity to get into fighting trim, and as such should be welcomed rather than decried or denied. We know all these things, yet we have to say them over and over again to ourselves and to each other for mutual encouragement. And it is right that it should be so. The comrades who are well support those who may be suffering from illness and disability from whatever cause, and they are right glad to do so, for our army is an army by reason of mutual support. Think what our army is, and despair, if you can. I am reading all your statements with interest. They all show a consideration from the right standpoint, from universals to particulars. I think with you that what is called old-fashioned hard thinking is worse than useless, and that if one keeps pondering on the philosophy or some application of it, ideas arise in the mind. Pondering on the self as in all things, and all things in the self must be productive, even as the self is the producer. It is not so much what we can formulate as what we consciously live. The formulation may give direction and continuity, and so is useful to ourselves and to others, but the application of right thought comes from pondering on the self. Your letters indicate that attitude. The thing to be guarded against is the materializing of the ideas, and I see no sign of that in you. The egoic consciousness, being not limited like that of the physical, and in a state of matter inconceivable to us, our terms cannot comprehend it, although its universal application can be brought to bear upon our present plane, and a junction made, which is no junction in the ordinary sense, but a higher viewpoint. All these attempts are efforts, and everywhere in nature we see that effort brings results. Judge said all is the self. He said this for no other possible reason than that the idea might be seized upon and held. The Gita says, enveloped by my magic illusion I am not visible to the world, that is, to segregated forms of perception, for this my divine elusive power acting through the natural qualities is difficult to surmount, and those only can surmount it who have recourse to me alone. I am the cause unseen, and the visible effect. But for those who thinking of me as identical with all, constantly worship me, I bear the burden of the responsibility of their happiness. All these quotations you know very well, yet they cannot be too often repeated. I think you stated the gist of the matter when you said that any differentiation whatever is Maya, because impermanent. There is nothing but consciousness per selenium, all the rest are perceptions in and of different states of matter, and in infinite aggregations. You have had a hard week of it, look for the compensation not for yourself, but under law.